All right, so today in the split would have been back day, right? It would have been back today, but I can still kind of feel my back a little. So, to the point where, as an experienced lifter, right, I feel that maybe taking an extra day and doing back tomorrow would be more beneficial, right? Now, that's not to say, oh, I'm just feeling a little bit tired today, I'm going to skip, right? That's foolish. You know, it's it's typically best practice not to work a muscle if it's still a little bit sore. Uh, oh, I mean, if it's really sore, right, you definitely wouldn't want to fucking hit a muscle again. If you just did a sick ass chest day, right, the next day, there's no chance you want to fucking hit your chest again. It's not recovered yet, right? The day after that, maybe. The day after that, probably, uh, you know what I think did me in? Fucking, when I do heavy dumbbell curls, I end up getting some pretty serious trap activation or upper back because I'm kind of swinging it a little. Maybe I should start doing more, not lighter sets for biceps, but maybe stricter movements. Like maybe start off with heavy preacher or something like that, so I don't have to swing and fucking flex my traps. But either way, not going to do back. So I think that today is just kind of going to be a little bit of a neglected muscle group day. So it's been a little while since I trained shoulders, and like I was saying in the last video, every so often I will. They're just kind of you know overdeveloped. Maybe not like to the point where just standing around they look crazy, but when I do like a back double bicep flex, they kind of they've got a roundness to them that sort of overpowers my arms. So I don't hit them, every like I don't have them programmed in the split, right? I just kind of do them when I pretty much just when I feel like it. But I'll do those today. And then you guys have been curious about forearm training. So I think I'll get a forearm pump as well. And it's been a little while since I actually recorded the calf workout. So today's going to be chest, shoulders, and calves. Now I do calves pretty much every day anyway, but I never record it because that would get boring seeing calves fucking every fucking video. But if you're one of the guys commenting about the forearm workout, like how do you work your forearms? Perfect video for you. Maybe I'll also double it up and add tomorrow's cardio into this video as well. Just make it a real fucking long one. But we'll have to see. So either way, I already drank the pre, and I'm going to start with shoulders. So let's get that started. Shoulders is not my most intense lift. This is pretty mellow. Like I'm still going hard. Like the sets are kind of burning, but this isn't this. I don't know. If your shoulders are small, then you should be hitting them a lot harder. But one thing I like doing to start off. So let's think about this. I'm not going to do front delts because my front delts are way overdeveloped. Like I'm not going to hit them. I haven't done front delts in like 2 years maybe. But side and rear, yeah, I could always use a little bit of extra oomph, extra roundness. So you can start with one or the other. For me, I want to finish with a side delt pump, just so they're extra big when I do the pose down. So I'll do rear delts first. So I think I'll start off with a couple sets of these like single arm face pulls. It's just the same thing as a normal face pull, but for me, I don't like having to lean back and pull the weight. If I do one arm at a time, it's just easier. So I'll do a couple of these and then move on to something else. So these and face pulls could be a little tricky just because you're going to be prone to like use your traps. All right, like when I'm doing these, I'm not trying to fucking pull really far back. Really, I'm just trying to rotate my arm, right? Like my shoulder isn't moving back or forth at all. It's just rotating. Another rear delt movement that I really like is bent over dumbbell lateral raises, right? Obviously, when you do a normal lateral raise, you're standing upright, right? You're working your side delts, but you know, grab the same weight, you bend over, right? You're loading up the rear delts, and with these, you can throw a pretty decent amount of weight around, right? Uh, like I wouldn't want to just sit here with like the 20s. You know, I think even if you're kind of a smaller guy, like throw the 40s around and really just try to yank them. Like as close as you can get to a compound lift, right? Kind of a heavier movement for rear delts. This is probably it. So I think I'll grab the, I'll just start with the 50s. Let's go do some reverse pec deck. So pec deck is taken. Honestly, my rear delts are pretty much pumped. I think I'll just do one more set of these reverse, or not reverse, I guess just normal single arm face pulls. And then we can move on to side delts. You know, pretty much I'd recommend 8 to 12 sets. By the time you've done that, you should be pretty pumped, as long as the sets were like decently executed. So 9 sets, that'll be good for rear delts. I think a set of 35s ought to be a good starter. Nothing too crazy. Okay. Actually, I just remembered a variation I like doing. So I'm gonna move on to that next. All right, so this will be more of a single arm, well, not even more, literally a single side movement. Or instead of sitting here, fucking doing both at once, right? I'll kind of lean sideways on this bench. It's at like maybe, I don't know, 60 degrees, whatever, close enough. And I'll just hold one dumbbell and just do reps like this. It's just kind of a different feeling, because you got to think, when you do a normal set, right, when you get to the bottom, there's no tension on your shoulder, right? Because the weight is just hanging off of you. But when you do it like this at this angle, like I'll go even lighter, right? There's always tension. Your shoulder is always, you know, keeping the dumbbell up at an angle, right? I'm not going all the way down to hang. So I think the 25 should feel pretty good here. Slow, controlled reps, really good squeeze. Side delts are already feeling pretty pumped. I'll just do 3 more sets here and then we can go check it out. Should look pretty freaky. I hope. Okay, let's go check the pump. All right, so yeah, I mean, shoulders, nothing too complicated. Like, I didn't do any fancy drop sets or anything, just kind of some fucking reverse shit and some side delts. Damn, even just through the shirt, they're looking really round. This is what I'm talking about when I say you want big rear delts, because rather than kind of having you hunched over, right, with big front delts and then smaller rear delts, it kind of gives you that roundness, especially from the side. You know, from the front, you know, it's not as crazy. Oh my goodness. All right, let's see what they're looking like. Ooh. Oh, that's reasonably bulbous. Yeah, see, that's like this little bump up here. That's what I'm talking about when I reference that roundness from fucking having big rear delts. Oh, yeah, fucking makes your front lat spread look even crazier too. Plus the most muscular. Whew. Yeah. Whoa, crazy. So now they should definitely be overpowering my fucking arms in the back double by. Whew. All right, let's get a... Whew. Even just holding them in those fucking poses, like they're tight. Whew. Yeah, that's pretty freaky too, right there. Fucking Death Star delts, as it were. I mean, mine aren't like totally bananas huge, but they're definitely pretty big. Like, you know, this is a pump from doing, you know, literally how many shoulder workouts this whole bulk? Maybe 20, maybe 15. I'm not really sure exactly. But, you know, I guess just kind of blessed in that sense. They don't need too much work. Like, this is what I'm talking about when I say that it's extra round up here, like the front delt. Like, I want my bicep to be at least this high up, right? At least this round. So, like my arms they're, you know, pretty good, but I would say that they're probably my weak point, especially triceps. I need some bigger ass fucking triceps. But you know, if you ever look at yourself and you're like, oh, I got a little lag in something or other, uh, and it makes you like, it like depresses you, like puts you down, like, oh, geez, my freaking, my biceps are so freaking small, right? If that just puts you in a bad mood, or if you let that put you in a bad mood, what the fuck is that supposed to be, right? If you got something lagging, or if you're not where you want to be, that should be motivation enough to go in the gym and fucking start spamming some heavy curls, right? You know, the least amount of negativity you can have in your mind, the better, right? The I say fucking I don't know why I started saying this, but I always make this fucking comparison, like the layman lifter versus the enlightened lifter, or novice lifter, whatever, right? The enlightened lifter is able to take any external input and convert it into motivation, right? Whoa, I woke up feeling good as fuck today. I'm fully hydrated. I'm ready to lift. I'm hyped. Let's go hit fucking shoulders. Let's go hit arms. Oh man, I feel like shit today. Dude, I'm so fucking tired. That's not gonna stop me though. Let's go fucking slam back. Ah, geez, fucking, you know, just whatever, right? If you got the right mentality, you can flip anything into a positive, or at least into a motivator, right? If somebody is fucking bullying you for being small, uh, doesn't really happen that much. This isn't really the 80s anymore, where everybody was looking up to Chuck Norris and Bruce Lee. You know, being fucking big and muscular isn't necessarily so mainstream. But yeah, whatever. If somebody's messing with you or something, just fucking turn it into positivity. turn into freaking positivity. I'm trying to think of another example, but I don't know. Her. Whatever. That's starting to sound cheesy, saying fucking positivity so many times. But you get the sentiment I'm going for, right? Just get hyped no matter what. And gains will be sure to come. Holy crap. That is freaky right there. Maybe I should hit shoulders more often. What do you think? I feel like it's responsible to, you know, lay off shoulders and let everything catch up. But I'm getting a little voice in my mind that's saying double down and get shoulders big as a house. And maybe not. Maybe not. A shoulder pump is just a special treat for me every so often. Right? I got to put more effort into into these bad boys. But speaking of that, let's go do some forearms. Let's go break down my go-to forearm movements. It has gotten progressively busier in here. Usually I would do these on a bench, just out of just as a preference. But my fucking music's going bananas right now. There we go. Yeah, usually I'd sit on the bench for these, but this is fine. It's whatever. Any seat. So pretty much my mentality with forearms is, like, I think a lot of people have a misconception about how they want to build them, right? If somebody were to tell you what you should do for forearms, for the most part, people are going to say hammer curls or like reverse grip curls, which, I mean, it works your forearm in a sense, right? Because that's working this sort of, this section right here. But really, if you want kind of a big, like meaty, impressive forearm, right? You want to work this chunk down here, right? Which is kind of doing like a, forearm curl more so than just like, how am I trying to say this? Like if you want to get bigger forearms, right? You want to work just your forearm, right? When you're doing a reverse curl like this, sure, you might be getting a forearm pump just from squeezing the dumbbell heavy, but really you're just working, this muscle up here. I forget the name. I'm sure 30 of you are going to comment it. That's not going to give you a big forearm look, right? Really what you're going to want to be doing is forearm curls like this, which I'll get into in a second. But, your hand doesn't just move like this, right? There's also the back of your forearm, right? And that's what I usually start with. So here what I'm going to do is like, 8 sets, 20 reps-ish, lightweight, like this is just a 25. And I'll sit here, balance the weight on my leg like this, and just do reverse curls, right? And the weight is not important. If you've never done these before, then you can just grab a 10. And after the 10 reps, you should start to feel, a bit of a burning sensation. Just because you never work, the back of your forearm. But this will kind of get these little extra things beefed up. Like when I'm sitting doing a dumbbell curl, and you can see some kind of striations on the side, that's from doing these, right? I haven't done them for a while because my forearms are reasonably developed, but I may as well do them every once in a blue moon. So I'm going to sit here for about 8 sets and just spam these. Pretty much any movement where you're working your forearm from here to here is going to be good. I've done ones where like you sit on a bench and hang a dumbbell off the side of it. Like, I like that, honestly. I did that for the most part in the beginning, but you get a pretty decent squeeze just doing a straight bar and then sitting here like this. Right? That's the whole rep. So, I mean, I've got the whole stack. You do whatever feels comfortable, and let's try to get a fucking bananas pump. So I'll sit here for, I don't know, at least 4 sets for sure. Yeah. Oh, it's getting hard to fucking open my hands. Whew. Actually, fuck it. I think I'll just sit here for the next. Hell, ooh. I'll do 8 sets here. I don't remember how many I've done. I'll show one more and then we can check the pump. 7 sets of the straight bar done. I think I'll finish off with 1 set of just single arm. Same, same set in practice, right? But instead of just holding both at once, you're just doing one at a time. All right. Let's go find some fancy lighting. Okay, so I can kind of feel my calves from yesterday when I hit them. So not gonna hit them today. Following my rule of only doing calves when they're fresh, right? Which for the most part, your calves can recover pretty fucking quick. You're not walking around with sore calves just from one lift, like 5 days ago or something. But let's see, what do you think? Are forearms any bigger? They certainly feel bigger for me. Oh, that's kind of a good shot right there. Yeah, but they're fucking pumped up. Whew. Yeah, like literally just doing this is so fucking feels so tight because all down here is all pumped up. Oh yeah, wait, let me do that trick where you fucking hold your bicep. Come on, veins, come out. A little. Expect more veins in the coming months once we're really getting lean. But yeah, they're pumped. I don't know why I was expecting them to be even crazier pumped, but yeah. So yeah, this is the shit I'm talking about. Like, you see all this going on? I don't know if you can even see it, whatever. But stuff up here, that's what's getting worked when you do those reverse wrist curls, right? Oh yeah, that's what I was trying to say. If you want to train your forearms and develop them, make them thicker up here in this meat part, the flat, this is the flat wing of your arm, if you can imagine that. But yeah, if you want more meat up in here, I really don't think that just doing back day without straps is the way to do it, or doing a lot of like hammer curls is the way to do it, right? It's of your forearms, right? This portion down here, which bends it this way, and this portion up here that bends it this way. It's a muscle just like any other on your body, right? And if you want to grow it, then you should train it directly. If I want bigger hamstrings, I'm not just going to do a bunch of squats, right? Even though, sure, your hamstrings probably get worked a little bit as a stabilizer when you're squatting or something. But you're not going to get crazy hamstrings doing a movement where they just happen to come into play, right? In a bodybuilding context, it's all about isolation. That's the name of the game. When you're doing arms, I guess this is a little bit debated. I've heard talk of weighted chin-ups being a huge bicep builder. I'm not exactly convinced, but whatever. I'm sure it does. I don't know. It's not my thing though. But for the most part, if you want big biceps, that means you do bicep curls. You work your fucking biceps. If you want big shoulders, you do lateral raises. If you want a big chest, you do, bench and flies. The same applies to every muscle in your fucking body, right? Same with your fucking neck. It's as foolish as it looks. If your neck is like legitimately kind of skinny and you're feeling a little self-conscious about it, fuck man, go hide in the corner in the gym if you don't want people to see you. Lay down on a bench and put a fucking 25-pounder on your head and just do some neck curls, right? I can't emphasize this enough. If you want to grow a specific portion of your body, right? Obviously, you have to be eating in a calorie surplus so you can actually grow muscle and not just maintain it. But you have to train that muscle directly. That's pretty much all I'm trying to say. So that's the end of today. It's kind of a weird lift, but back tomorrow. Should be back on my normal schedule. But let's go in the car, get the dextro shake going. Whew. So yeah, a little bit of I guess I was gonna say a weird lift, but really a long-awaited lift. There's been some comments talking about the forearm training. Now, yeah, I mean, I used to do like those curls and the reverse curls every arm day. Like it would be between uh, how I would do it is I would do triceps like normal, but then when I was doing biceps, right, you know, my 11 sets, whatever, I would do a set of biceps and then immediately, well, you know, not like a superset, but in between every set of biceps, I would do those forearm curls, right, just to make sure I had a big ass forearm pump. And they've gotten to this size. I think they're probably good. That's why I don't really train them now. But they definitely weren't always, you know, big, right? I really don't think it's in your best interest to follow the logic of like, oh, I'll just work my forearms when I do back without straps, because then you're getting the worst case of training for either your forearms and your back, right? Because if you're doing back, I don't need to be, you know, focusing on my grip. I don't need grip to be like a factor in the intensity of my sets. Plus, when you're really squeezing hard, like let's say you're doing like the hammer strength row, you know, the one where you reach in front of you like this. If you're fucking squeezing it super hard, then you're also going to be working this, you know, this muscle right here in your forearm, you know, kind of almost activating some bicep and using your arm to move the weight. But if you fucking use some straps, which I fucking recommend, then you'll be able to use your hand more so as just a hook, right? And you can just imagine pulling with your elbow. That's a pretty that's a pretty good beginner cue for feeling your back when you're doing rows, rather than like feeling your biceps or whatever. Because if you're focusing on pulling the weight with your hands, then maybe you're going to start bending your arms to move it, and it just won't be as good. Whereas if you use your straps, you lock in, and you don't have to focus on gripping so hard, you can kind of have more of a loose grip, then you can pull with your elbows and get a much better squeeze. But today's in back day, so we don't need to be talking about that. Let's just slam the shake and get out of here. Blah. Gross. Carbs straight to the fucking forearms and shoulders. Let's think. What else is there to freaking talk about? Uh, Not much. Not freaking much. I think I may. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. So, God, yeah. What do I want to fucking? What do I want to say right now? What kind of information can I share with you guys? Um, Fuck, I can't think of anything. Pretty much already talked about all the training I did today with the forearms and whatever. How about this? Yeah. So calves, right? I did 8 sets of calves at the end of yesterday's chest workout, and not even that intense. Like, I wasn't sitting there hyping myself up for every set of, you know, single leg calf raises on the seated calf machine. You know, I was just sitting there, kind of like scrolling TikToks in between sets. I do 20 reps on each side. Really just kind of going for kind of a burning sensation. Like, I don't load up my calves with a crazy amount of weight. But even just doing those 8 sets where all I focused on was getting a really good squeeze, uh, I fucking still feel it today. Which, you know, I'm not saying that soreness is an indicator that you did a good and effective lift, but it's definitely an indicator that you did something, right? So I'm not going to hit calves when they're sore, right? That's kind of an indicator that they're not recovered, I think. So I'll wait for maybe tomorrow or the day after, probably tomorrow. And by the time I finish back day, uh, I'll kind of feel my calves. And if they feel good, like if I flex them and they don't feel, sore and fatigued, then boom, another 8 sets, right? Uh, I've said this before, and I don't mean it in like a disrespectful way, but you know, it's kind of a not even a stereotype, just a thing, right? That you'll see videos of like a fucking dude with some big ass calves, and then the caption of the joke on like a TikTok or whatever would be like, "Oh, what does the rest of me look like?" And then it's just a fat guy, right? Because his calves are getting daily stimulation with a reasonable amount of load just from walking around on them. So plus all the old school dudes, old school bodybuilding logic is that your calves are a stubborn muscle and you walk around on them all day so they can handle very frequent training, which, I mean, makes sense to me, right? Uh, all this, the science of muscle building, they're not totally there yet. They don't know the exact perfect training style or whatever. There's pretty much just like basic principles, which clearly have been shown to result in muscular hypertrophy. If we're getting all specific, right? And that's a huge subculture of lifters really getting into the science and the studies of the fast twitch fibers and the slow twitch fibers and training frequencies and whatever else, different rep ranges and stuff. Uh, I don't really find myself diving into that rabbit hole. I pretty much just uh, did like obviously I did enough research per se, just watching like Jeff Nippard videos and stuff like that about training frequency and whatever else. So if I were to look at someone's workout split, like if you were to show me your split right now and break it down day by day and like describe your workouts, right, I would pretty much judge it based on these criteria, right? Are you hitting every muscle group about twice a week, right? That's a pretty decent frequency because, when you like, let's think about this. You'd only want to hit a muscle after it's recovered, fully from its last workout, right? So let's say I do a hard ass core chest workout, right? I did one yesterday, and I can still feel my chest, right? It is sore, it is not recovered. Tomorrow, I might even feel it a little, and the next day, maybe I don't feel it at all, right? And I would say that's a good indicator that you're ready to hit it again. So, for the most part, after 2 or 3 days rest, I would say for the regular lifter who's been doing it for a little while, they're ready to hit that muscle again, right? And that lines up with the hit every muscle group twice a week ish. I pretty much hit everything twice every 8 days because I've been doing a 4-day split, which just repeats. But I would, if you're only hitting every muscle group once per week, that would be my critique. I'd be like, okay, you should probably increase your frequency. And then in terms of volume, each workout for each muscle group, right? Let's say you told me that you did, uh, let's say you're doing everything twice a week. You do push pull legs, rest day. Or maybe you do the Arnold split, like legs, chest and back, arms and shoulders. Legs, like that. Um, if I asked you your volume and you told me that you did 20 sets of arms, or 20 sets of bis, 20 sets of tris, 20 sets of chest, like every workout for each muscle, you're doing 20 sets, I'd say that's a bit much. That's a bit excessive, right? By the time you've done about, I say 8 to 12, but honestly, maybe even less. Probably, I think probably closer to maybe 6 to 11, something in that range, right? Obviously, I'm still learning this shit. I'm not convinced I have the perfect workout routine, but it's been working for now. But yeah, if you tell me you're doing 20 sets of biceps each workout, that's too much, right? If your sets are actually hard, by the time you've done, let's just say around 8, just to keep it a little simple, by the time you've done 8 sets of curls and the sets were hard, you should be fully pumped, right? And by the time you're fully pumped, I mean, that's just a decent uh, sign. Like, all right, I've done enough. That's probably good. Now, every time I say that, I get a comment like, "What if I get fully pumped after one set?" For one thing, I don't think that happens. And then, I mean, who knows? Maybe if it does, Just fucking do more. Get closer to that 8 number, right? And the last thing I would look at is your workout, uh, let's just say procedure, let's say program, whatever, right? If you do your chest workout, and I'm like, okay, what do you usually do? And you tell me you start with 3 sets of pec deck, and then you do 3 sets of cable flies, and then you do 4 sets of bench, or like some kind of chest press, I would be a little bit concerned, right? Because why would you want to do your heavy compound lift at the end when you're already weak and pre-exhausted? Like, sure, you can still get a good chest pump doing a workout like that, but I think you're going to want to hit a muscle when it's strongest with as much weight as possible in the beginning of the lift, right? Like yesterday when I did chest, I started off with 4 plates on the incline for incline barbell, right? That was pretty much as much weight as I could feasibly do for a reasonable amount of reps, you know. And I got weaker as the lift progressed, and then dropped it down to 3 plates. And then after I finished all my heavy pressing, that's when I did chest flies to finish it off, right? Typically, you're going to want to do a heavy movement, or use heavier weights in the beginning of the workout, and then transition into more isolation and squeezing movements toward the end, right? Let's say your leg workout is going to consist of squats, leg press, and then leg extensions, or your quad workout, not leg workout. Then I would not want to do leg extensions first and then leg press and then squats, right? I want to do it the other way around. Do the heavy shit first. Start off with squats, then leg press, then leg extensions, right? Heavy, and then lighter squeezing movements, feel the burn, etc. So as long as you can kind of fit that criteria, you should be making some decent progress, assuming you actually go hard. But I think I'm going to splice in. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm not going to splice in the cardio from tomorrow. I'll make that its own thing. So hopefully you took a little something from that, and I will see you next time.